Today's show is brought to you by adamandeve.com. Go to adamandeve.com right now and you'll get 50% off just about any item. All you have to do is enter the code word GLORY, Glory, at checkout.
Hi, Tom and Cecil. It's Esme. I just was reading about the questionnaire that he sent out to the members of the Energy Department, and it's essentially outing people who believe in climate change and who went to the climate change conferences. And the questionnaire also asked, like, who are the highest paid people in the department. And it just seems like a total witch hunt. And I'm just wondering, like, I'm just so scared for this country. It just seems like, is he going to put in jail, you know, people who believe things that he doesn't believe in, or have them fired? Or, I mean, it's so scary. Okay, glory hole. Love you guys. Thanks.
Hi, boys. This is Terry from Louisville. You know, I used to get annoyed that y'all talked about Kentucky being such a shithole, but this election, after voting this clown into office, this state actually is upset about losing Obamacare. You think they'd learn after Bevin, but no. This is a state that will vote against its own self-interest, then look back and go, oh no, another idiot wants to take the vote that we need to survive. I'm from Louisville, and at this point, I self-succeed from the rest of Kentucky. Say whatever you want about it. Not my state.
Hey guys, this is Jason in Madison, Wisconsin. I just wanted to chime in on shitting on most of Illinois. I moved to Wisconsin from Texas, and driving up through most of Illinois, it's just corn. Every once in a while you see a soy patch, but I got excited to see Rockford. A sentence that should never, ever be said. Rockford just was not corn, which was nice. Glory hole.
Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago, this is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. This is episode 331 of Cognitive Dissonance. You didn't do anything to fuck with me the whole intro.
I just messing with
you turned me down a little.
I was messing. I was messing with the.
You were working
the things. Yeah, it's this thing.
I have no idea how any of those buzzers and slides and
it's this
fucking
thing you do
whistles.
when you want a quality product, Tom. I know that you haven't done that with any aspect of your life yet.
Yeah, that thing is as fucking mysterious as the clitoris over there. Like, I don't know, you're like fucking twiddling at it and flipping it up and down just to see when it responds.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
He's talking about the mixer, folks. He's just saying the thing over there is the
wiggly
mixer.
wobbler.
Yeah.
What is it over there?
Yeah.
I don't know, the slidey button machine. Whatever that is. I don't even know what you use it for. I think you just have it to look cool. I think it's your fucking flux capacitor, buddy.
It's like
whoop, whoop, whoop. I bought the thing with all the bits and pipes and buttons on it.
It's my Death Star control. We're ready to fire, sir.
Yeah, I never really paid a whole lot of attention to this because I don't know how any of it works or what the machines are. But I do notice you have a lot of buttons and things in front of you.
I do.
Does that make you feel like a big man? Do you feel important sitting over there with your controls and your keys to the kingdom?
I feel very important, actually. I feel podcast important.
That's not very important
Which is
at all.
to say, we're now accepting donations at Patreon.
Do you feel as important as Donald Trump when he walks out of an elevator? Did you see the video of him?
I didn't see this, no.
The guy is such a fucking unabashed narcissist. He walks out of his elevator and to call the reporters to come to him, like, come to me, plebes. Like, he walks out and just goes,
no shit.
Claps his hands, and they just come fucking scurrying, like come running over to him. Like
they all sound like Schmeagol.
Yeah, it's fucking. Where's my precious? Bring me your crazy.
He is gold.
He is. And unfortunately, he's going to rule them all soon.
Oh, gosh. Someone throw him into Mordor.
Dude, I would not be surprised if he installed an Eye of Sauron above the White House. It was just,
right? He actually models it after the dollar, and it's a pyramid with the fucking the eye, the Illuminati eye.
Can you imagine if he fucking spray painted the White House like fucking gold or green or something? It was just like, I blinged it out.
I mean, not on his first term, but on his 5th or 6th term, I think I could see him doing
He's
that.
going to lose his 5th or 6th term. Oh, Canada. And I don't know the rest of that song. Does Australia have a national anthem?
I don't know.
They're
like, get the fucking spider off me. I think that's their national anthem.
They're already dead before they can get that phrase out. That guy is going to become such more of a narcissist. Like, you take a narcissist, right? You take somebody who's just unabashedly, genuinely, crazily self-important, and then you give him literally all of the power. That's the worst thing you can do to this guy. He's going to have a grill. Like, by fucking March, he's going to have a fucking grill and a giant Flava Flav DEFCON clock.
It's always on the 11th hour. No, he's not going to have a grill, but he almost certainly will mandate it for certain states, right? So they'll be like,
here's your South Carolina grill. And just like walk around like, I'm an attorney. Like, I don't want that. I don't want this at all.
He shows up to these huge
We'll make the
venues.
Mexicans build it.
He shows up to these huge venues. He's like, all right, all you motherfuckers, smile at me. Smile at me. I want to see that gold.
He like points to the guys like, shine a light on their beautiful teeth. Reflect it back to me. God, it's going to be like fucking building like the Archimedes death ray of people's teeth, just lighting them up. Shining into the ocean.
That's how I want to go, actually.
Blasted by an Archimedes death ray made out of forced grill teeth?
Yes, that sounds like...
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah. I had that dream last night.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
So this story comes from the Diane Rehm Show, actually, which is broadcast on NPR. And this is how journalists are rethinking their role under a Trump presidency, which they soon won't have one, except for from the cages he puts them in, I think. And I have to say, before we started, I'm glad they recorded it before she died.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like she's going to die.
She's not dying during it?
Yeah.
It sounds like, this sounds like grandma's calling from the grave.
I have never heard a horde. I've never heard anybody sound this old. Her voice sounds like thin paper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Like her voice has floppy arms.
She sounds like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
She sounds... Yeah, actually, you're right on. Yeah, she's right. You're right on. But the thing that, just lit me up, Cecil, lit me up when I heard this, comes from Scottie Nell Hughes. Now, Scottie Nell Hughes is the editor from RedAlerts.com. She's also a contributor from CNN. And I don't even want to summarize what she says. It is so jaw-droppingly insane and genuinely upsetting that before the show, I was kind of freaking out a little bit, man. Yeah. I was kind of still freaking out a little bit about this.
No.
So let's go ahead and play this.
It has freak out fucking potential for sure. So let's play this. Like Tom said, this is from NPR WAMU. I edited it slightly because there is a part where they sort of talk about something that we're not hearing.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's also an idea of an opinion. And that's, on one hand, I hear half the media saying that these are lies. But on the other half, there are many people that go, no, it's true. And so one thing that has been interesting this entire campaign season to watch is that people that say facts are facts, they're not really facts. Everybody has a way. It's kind of like looking at ratings or looking at a glass of half full water. Everybody has a way of interpreting them to be the truth or not truth. There's no such thing, unfortunately, anymore, of fact.
There's no such thing, unfortunately, anymore as facts.
Because it's all spin?
Because it's all subjective. This is the ultimate relativism, right? You know what's so crazy about this? I was thinking about this on my drive up. What's so crazy about this is so much of the right has pushed back against, this sort of boogeyman of postmodern relativism, this boogeyman of subjectivism, right?
Right.
This is ultimate subjectivism. This is the ultimate postmodern relativistic stand.
If there's no facts, then there's no way to objectively look at anything.
You have taken the whole concept of knowledge itself as being attainable and virtuous to attain. You've taken that concept and you've uprooted it in its entirety. And you said it's no longer even valuable because it's no longer even possible.
Well, aren't these the same people who believe in ultimate truth?
That's what I mean. Is yes, they believe in ultimate truth and they despise postmodern relativism, right? Even though I think a lot of times they don't understand what it means.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Right? But they throw that shit out there like a boogeyman.
Yeah, they're
right?
just like, what is that, a vaccine?
They're like, I've never read Derrida, whatever. I don't know. They don't fucking shit about shit.
Is that what they splice into corn to make it resistant to weeds?
Exactly,
is that
right?
how this works?
They don't know shit about shit, but they know the word and they feel like vaguely uncomfortable with it. So, and then in the same fucking breath, this same group of people now truly claims that facts aren't facts, that there's no such thing as facts,
that it's all just spin,
and because it's all spin, that you just pick whichever one you like. But you pick the one that's much better than the thing that you like.
But if we're saying that, if it's all spin means that you have to start from somewhere. Like there's, when I think of spin, I think there's a center. And then you spun it from there, right? You spun it. So now I'm on these fringy outsides. I'm not really sure. But there's got to be a point of contact where it meets everybody's spin.
And so Mr. Trump's tweet amongst a certain crowd, a large part of the population, are truth. When he says that millions of people illegally voted, he has some facts amongst him and his supporters, and people believe they have facts to back that up.
Wait, she started to say he has facts.
And then she bails on it.
His supporters believe that they have facts. Because she starts to say facts.
Right.
And then she's facts.
Because they're not real.
Yeah.
And then she punts, right? And she says, well, the supporters believe that they have facts. Because what's important right now is not whether something is, but whether you believe that something is, right? This is that post-fact world, the post-rational world that we're entering into that makes me want to kill myself.
Do you remember the fucking RNC this year? Mm-hmm. Where they kept on saying, I believe, but they never really said, these things are real. Instead, they would just say, I believe. This feels like an extension of that. This feels like an extension of that message, which is, if you don't have the truth, just tell them you believe the opposite, and they'll eventually have some sort of empathy for you because you believe it.
I agree. And they're driving at this idea that believing things, and we've talked about this, but we're taking that idea that belief equals truth, right? Which has always been a religious idea, right? That's been a religious concept. If you believe something, you have faith in it, then it's true. And that's how you get to truth. If you start from belief and then you build a faith model around that, and then your truths just fall into place after the fact. This is an extension of the faith model into the proper world, into the world of facts and figures and baseball bats and people that walk around and do stuff. Not just like a crazy ye olde mythology. It's one thing when it's like, this is what I think happens when we die. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It literally doesn't make any difference. Maybe it motivates your thinking and reasoning, right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about deciding whether something happened. Like quantifiably. Did 2 million illegal immigrants vote in this last election? There's a number. There's a people. This is a claim that is testable. It's a knowable, quantifiable thing. And she is saying out loud that it literally doesn't matter. It makes no difference as long as enough people believe it happened.
As long as enough people have facts that they believe.
Right.
It's not even because now she's backpedaling on the fact that there's facts. Instead, she's saying that there's things out there that you believe in. Those are the facts. That's what it sounded like to me. That she's shifting instead of saying there's no facts. No, there are facts, but they are what you believe harder.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like the belief makes it a fact.
Yeah.
Those that do not like Mr. Trump, they say that those are lies, and there's no facts to back it up.
All right, let's go to Glenn Thrush and let him comment.
First, I got to pick my jaw up off the floor here.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Me too.
Thank goodness somebody said it. What the fuck?
There are no objective facts. I mean, that is an absolutely outrageous assertion. Of course there are facts. There is no widespread proof that 3 million people voted illegally. It's been checked over and over again. We had a Pew study that took place over 15 years that showed people had more likelihood of being struck by lightning than voting illegally in an election. Facts are facts. I'm sorry you don't like the facts, but the one thing I think you got totally right, that PolitiFact would give you a completely true score on, is we definitely need to start responding to this.
And James Falco.
So I think
okay, hold on 1 second. Let me respond back to Glenn for us.
Go ahead.
Now that I know that Glenn is listening, actually what you said was wrong. Let's look at 2014 electoral studies. The journal showed that in 2008 and 2010, illegal immigrants were higher.
Well, higher what? What does it even mean?
No, she starts to say something and then she just gives
stops. A thing showed they were higher. Like taller?
Yeah.
Like they're just standing on a ladder?
They were in Colorado?
What does that mean? It's just higher. They're
they
just
went
fucking
to the
stoned,
medical marijuana
right?
place earlier.
The illegal immigrants are higher. And then she stops and just bails on the whole thing.
Nobody hires illegal immigrants. Come on.
From the Home Depot, you do.
And this was done by illegals were actually voting in it. These were done by
can you give me the number?
Just at Old Dominion. As many as 2.8 million. That these 4 professors at Old Dominion and George Mason came out and proved and said 2.8.
I'm glad 4 professors.
Right.
And first off, I don't even know if that's true, but 4 professors?
4 unnamed professors. Here, watch me do the same thing. You know what, Cecil? 3 professors from Yale once said I have a 14-inch cock. It doesn't give me a 14-inch cock. I just said a thing. It didn't change anything. I'm still Irish.
It's still an innie.
Pew Research poll, that same poll you cited, actually 53% of Democrats at the Democratic Party support letting illegals vote.
That has nothing to do with whether or not illegals did vote. If they were supporting whether or not somebody's allowed to vote, would men make their vote legal.
Yeah.
Right? If we passed a law that allowed them to vote, then they would no longer be voting illegally.
Yeah.
They would have the law on their side to be able to vote. Also, we didn't do that, and that's still half of half, which means it's like 20% of the American population.
And I still don't believe it.
These are people that actually monitor those polls. So this is why, if anything, we should have stronger voter ID laws in all of these states to make sure that we don't have this type of conversation going.
Red herring. It has nothing to do with
literally
the argument.
nothing to do with what you're talking about.
That's just it's such a fucking sideways thing. The argument was whether or not there are knowable objective facts. The example that was given was whether or not 2.however million people voted in this election.
Yeah.
Then she goes on to make a series of crazy assertions that literally have nothing to do with it, except for that 4 professors said it's probably totes true.
Yeah.
And then she punts and tries to kick the ball into another fucking field.
Well, she's talking about, why do you care? Here's the thing. If there's no facts, why do you care whether or not somebody has an ID?
Yeah, what's the point?
I mean, you can't prove anything anyway, right? There's literally no way that you can prove. If there's no facts, Tom, how am I supposed to believe that you're even a citizen?
I don't know.
There's literally no way to prove it.
Maybe I'm a fucking dragon.
If there's no facts, then fucking voter ID laws are useless because you can't prove anything.
There's no fact. Gravity is useless. What is happening?
Why am I not floating?
I know. Why am I not super rich? Because I want to be rich, and I believe I want to be rich.
All right. Because in many states, you can mail things in. Those work. So, yes, there is facts to back up.
In many states, you can mail things in. What things? Like a fucking road carcass you found?
Even presuming that she's talking about ballots, am I supposed to think that there's just like hordes, like millions of illegal immigrants standing by mailboxes every day? I wonder if they'll get their ballots today. And then stealing it. And then the person who's expecting that ballot never says anything like, where's my ballot? And then requests a new ballot. It's a crazy thing to think about.
Or they just it's a secret ballot, so anybody can just send in a ballot. You don't even need your name on it.
That's insane.
Right? It's like a Scantron they send out randomly and anonymously.
Without any... Yeah.
And then you could just get it back, right? That's how they think voting works. These people are idiots, man.
I don't know how any of this is working.
But this is fucking not how it works.
What I said and why Trump supporters believe it. You are wrong, sir.
It's often the more specific, quote, smaller issues where the fact issue is more dramatic. Donald Trump has said there were 20,000 people outside a certain hall. The fire marshal said the hall holds 3,000 people. He said it one day, the NFL asked me to move the dates of these debates. The NFL said, what are you talking about? We've never contacted you. He said he gave donations to these various charities. David Farenthold of the Post contacted hundreds of these charities, said they'd never had received it. So there are matters of opinion. I think that it was very revealing, an important thing that Scottie Nell Hughes was saying, which is that there are no facts. I think it actually is an intended result of this campaign and administration to think, well, really, there aren't any facts. It's all opinion, so we're going to sort of manipulate the things that we care about. I believe that the job for the media and civil society now is essentially to say there are such things as facts. So the line may be drawn here.
Scottie.
Fucking unbelievable. I mean, but the problem is that he didn't address the things that she just said.
Yep.
And so it sounds like she won those things. But she didn't win them because she just didn't. Like, none of those things made any sense.
I really think that there's a problem when the side of rationality comes back at, she is fired up. She's passionate, right? She's crazy as a shithouse rat, and she's dead ass wrong on every point. But she's fired up and she's passionate. And the other guy on the other side of this conversation is very reserved and very quiet and very logical. And he's easier to not listen to.
Yeah.
He's just easier to not listen to. And I don't think that our discourse should be screaming at each other, but it's also the case that we are in a post-intellectual world too, right? Yeah. Where the intellect isn't what's valued and it's not what's moving people. And if we respond to insanity with calm, rational examinations, we're going to lose. We're going to lose every time, and I know we're going to lose because we lost.
Yeah, because we keep losing.
Right.
Trump keeps winning.
Yeah.
Keeps winning, guys.
We got to yell back, to some degree, not all of us, but some of us have to yell back and be like, that's literally a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
And somebody needs to be louder than that person.
Yes. Well, what's interesting, what he just said, all those people he mentioned are known biased, including political.
The NFL is biased?
See, that's good, though, right?
Yeah, right.
So now what he's doing is he's saying, wait, no, fucking no.
Yeah,
no.
right.
The NFL, fucking the entire NFL organization can't be biased against fucking Donald Trump. Those people, as soon as Donald Trump got elected, they all ejaculated in their pants. Right. They're just like, oh my God, we're going to be so fucking, we don't have to pay any fucking taxes.
Right.
We're going to collect all the poor people's taxes. That's how this works.
Yeah, no kidding. Plus, one of the other things that he mentions is literally hundreds of charities. And she's like, well, they're all biased. Literally hundreds of charities.
All 100 charities are biased. And then, like when you look at it, you're like, okay, well, what about the fucking the 3,000 versus 20,000 thing, right?
Yeah,
Where you're saying
the fire marshal is biased.
The fire marshal's like, no, actually, it is just a 3,000 and 20,000 is a big difference,
just
right?
It's not like 2/3 more.
You could, if you really tried, fit 20,000
right?
people in there. I mean, you could.
It's not a nightclub in Chicago.
If you had a wood chipper, you could. But if you didn't, it would be real hard.
Right.
That's the question that you have to ask right now. These were private conversations that happened with the NFL. The NFL that came out and spoke about it, the person who did, was someone that we've proven has not been necessarily a Trump fan. We don't know the conversations that happened.
So because they're not a Trump supporter, then when they came out to do their job, look, I got a job that I have to do, right? Like, it's not like somebody said, go out and tell somebody what you think personally.
Yeah.
They represent an organization.
I've worked for religious organizations in the past.
Right.
And sometimes you have to just be a mouthpiece for that organization or do something that is religious, not you doing something, but at least create something that has a religious overtone. You have to do it because it's your fucking job.
Yeah.
And because, I walk in as Cecil, but you know what? While I'm there, the money they're paying me is for me to be objective.
Yep.
Right? That's the problem too, right? Is that since there are no facts, since everything is subjective, she thinks that no one can
can be
operate
objective.
in a way that does not have spin, right? So now she's poisoned herself into thinking that someone can't just walk through the world and be like, well, I can at least give you a fair shake. Nobody's going to ever give anybody a fair shake in this mindset because there's no facts. I've got to interpret everything. And when I've got to interpret everything, I've got to put a spin on it to let it out into the world.
You know, the problem too is that she is suggesting that there is no evidence of absence, right? So in other words, like, this is an easily provable. All these are easily provable claims, but Trump doesn't have to prove the claim, as long as nobody is asking for the evidence on that side of the equation. Then the people were saying, look, you said he gave money to hundreds of charities. It's easy to know this.
Yeah,
you call the charity the charity denies it. Okay, it's. Even if you're still like, well, that's somebody's word, and then you do it 100 times, and it's still 100 people's word individually against his. If there were evidence, you'd have a receipt.
Yeah.
Right? We donated money to the ACLU. We have a receipt.
Yeah.
That's it. There's evidence. I don't need anybody involved in the equation. There's no bias, right? I've got a fucking receipt from the ACLU saying we donated money to the goddamn ACLU. The problem is that they think you should be able to offer evidence of absence.
Sure. Prove he didn't do it.
Yeah, prove he didn't do it. Well, all you have is somebody saying he didn't do it. Well, that's all you're ever going to have if something didn't happen.
Yeah.
So you're the one making the claim, but they don't understand and they don't respect the burden of evidence, right?
And that's and just like it was reported that the Secret Service, the media reported the Secret Service came and talked to Mr. Trump about his comments regarding Hillary Clinton. That never happened. But yet the media doesn't say, we're sorry we made up that lie about you, Mr. Trump.
Too quote.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, hey, remember that one time that somebody messed up? Well, I'm going to keep going back to that thing. Even again, I don't know if any of that's true because I didn't research this story. I don't know.
But it wouldn't matter.
But here's the thing. One, Clinton's not in the race anymore. There's no race. The race is run. He's doing his victory lap. If you don't fucking remember, he's traveling to all these fucking Rust Belt shitholes.
Still having rallies.
Guys.
Yeah, because he needs to get jerked off all the time.
So he is still the winner. He's the winner. So there's no reason to ever bring up Clinton or any of that stuff that happened in the past. You know, what you're trying to do is say, oh, well, one time in the past, someone messed up on a story, and so now we can mess up on stories every single time.
Right.
No.
It's not
journalistic integrity when they did it, and it's certainly not when you do it.
But the whole idea of journalistic integrity has taken a fucking shit. Everything feels editorial. Her whole stance is that everything's an editorial. I think that's her whole stance here. Is everything is an editorial. There's no such thing as unbiased information. So if everything is biased, then you just pick the one you like best.
That's the problem with this, is we've somehow gone as journalists from stopping reporting the who, what, where, the facts, and we've mixed in our own opinions of why.
I'm sorry, this is my favorite, because when you listen to what she says here, and I don't know if this is in the part that you edited, but later when she talks about her own journalism, she's an opinion journalist.
Yeah. And there's, there are some that still do that. But unfortunately, people like Fahrenhold, who you actually pointed out, they feel like interjecting their own opinion into it. So any facts that they might be able to report, nobody believes because he's interlaced his opinion in other places.
Okay, and Margaret Sullivan, you'd like to say something.
Margaret Sullivan, would you like some more pie, dear?
And again, she's back to belief. It's like, she's like, well, nobody believes it. That doesn't make it more or less true.
Does nothing.
2 + 2 is 4, even if no one thinks it's 4.
Yep.
Yes, Scottie Nell, with due respect, if you identify as a journalist, you cannot also be saying there are no facts.
At least somebody calls her out at the end.
Yeah. You've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to. That shit is insane. And I think that shit is more rather than less at this point. I think that is a more common train of thought than a less common train of thought.
Because I want to treat you like I want to be treated. I'm not the devil. I'm the opposite of that.
So the story is from Right Wing Watch. Alex Jones defends Pizzagate truthers after conspiracy theory leads to armed attack. So this is fucking nuts. Cecil, you did a lot of research. Why don't you actually give us some background on this?
I didn't do a ton of research, but he's going to talk about a lot of terms throughout this entire piece. And he's going to talk about the Podesta emails, which is the WikiLeaks emails that came out. They're in a database. You can search terms. So when he says these terms are in here, I did searches. So I will tell you my findings as we move through this on what he's talking about when he's saying just search for it. I did exactly what he said. He tells the audience to go do this research. I did do this research. So let's listen to Alex Jones sing Bing Crosby's favorite hit, Pizzagate. Here we go. It's because he's standing in front of a Christmas tree.
He's just like a crooner. He's a Pizzagate.
Pizzagate.
I don't know what is next.
Pizzagate.
You just come out and say, these crazy fake news people, why they say that, there's a dungeon at this pizza place, and as you can see, there's no dungeon here. When you know good and well it's Podesta putting out emails about, look at my dungeon, or I'm in the dungeon right now, or,
So, Tom, I'm at WikiLeaks right now.
Okay.
The Podesta emails, this is what he was referring to, right?
Right. So the Podesta emails, hold on a second. The Podesta emails is a series of emails involving Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. Podesta is a long-term associate of the Clintons, was President Bill Clinton's chief of staff from 1998 until 2001. Mr. Podesta also owns the Podesta Group with his brother Tony, a major lobbying firm, and is the chair of the Center for American Progress. So if anybody's wondering where this kind of stems from, that's where it stems from.
So this is what he's talking about. I just typed in, done. 3 results.
Okay.
So first one's from Debate Night in Houston.
So let's read it in context. For years, President Obama and the progressives who support him have classified the prison at Guantanamo Bay, where the United States has housed the world's most dangerous terrorists and enemy combatants for nearly 2 decades, as a medieval dungeon.
Okay. That's it. No, that's it.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yep.
It's talking about Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they're using dungeon metaphorically there.
It's the least sexy dungeon possible. Okay, let's find the next one. Frustrated by being required to find his way to a private dungeon to read the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, Rand Paul said Monday he is a no vote on a provision.
That's from an article that they're quoting and sending to each other. Okay, so again, that's the second
instance of the word dungeon,
and the third and last instance. This is a quote from an article that they are sending each other. This is an article that a piece from an article.
A Philadelphia woman got life in prison for locking mentally disabled people in a dungeon so that she could collect their disability benefits.
Oh, God, there's so many hot dogs coming, it's in those emails.
The hot dogs. So hot dogs, he's referring to boys to fuck.
Yeah, boys to fuck. I did a search for that. There's 2 instances of hot dogs.
All right.
One of them refers to a stand. The other one refers to like a bat that somebody had. These are the most innocuous fucking emails you've ever read in your entire life. They're fucking boring.
Yes.
They're boring.
Oh, Obama's getting $60,000+ in hot dogs. I love those scrumptious, delicious hot dogs. Oh, I can't wait to get a hot dog myself. Oh, will there be, what type of sauce will be on the hot?
Nobody said that.
Right?
He's just making
that
up.
Yeah.
That is not in there.
It's just making it up.
Like, I could see, look, here's the thing. If somebody was speaking explicitly and just replacing one noun with another noun, like, I'm going to fuck you in the hot dog, right?
Exactly.
Right. Come on.
I can't wait to get my hands on that hot dog. I'm just going to take all the clothes off that hot dog.
Right.
And I'm going to tie that hot dog down into my dungeon and I'm going to rape that hot dog.
Okay.
Clearly hot dog means something else,
right?
Because I normally just use mustard. That's it. I'm kind of just I'm a purist. Maybe a crack of pepper on there, but that's about it.
These are
ketchup, right. Motherfucker. No ketchup.
That is. Anyone who puts ketchup on the hot dog is a fucking communist.
Fucking ridiculous. And the thing is I think I'm looking in the right place. Please, if you guys found these emails somewhere, I don't want to be wrong about this, right? So if Alex Jones is somehow right about this, please let me know.
Not a case.
But I searched through this and I didn't find it. Now, if you say, oh, well, it's not in those emails, he messed up, it's not in the Podesta emails, it's in the fucking dirty dungeon emails or whatever, I want to see those.
Show me the emails.
I want to see it.
Right.
But I haven't, I did some searching today and I did not find it in the Podesta emails, which is what he is currently referring to.
Here's why I can pretty much guarantee they don't exist. If they existed, he would have them up on his screen, and he would be showing them to you on his screen, and he wouldn't be standing in front of a goddamn Christmas tree. If I had a computer screen full of these emails and I knew these words meant this, I would put them on the screen. If they were explicit and obvious, like if somebody said I'm going to pay $60,000 for a hot dog, It's clear you're not talking about a hot dog, right? So I would put that shit up on the fucking big board, and you'd be able to look at it while I'm looking at it. That's how you would fucking demonstrate this information. You wouldn't just fucking growl at the camera, which is all he's going to do. He's going to mean mug at the camera.
And then you go to the FBI's own pedophile breakdown of code words they use. I didn't know this stuff. And I'm sitting there reading this, and I'm just like, what the hell? You know, the internet has popularized all these weird sexual fetishes. So I've learned all these horrible terms, you know, like upper decker.
I love that he doesn't even know. The guy is so clueless that he's like, I've learned all these horrible sexual terms, like upper decker. That's a prank.
Yeah, there's literally nothing sexual about it. If you get turned on by an upper decker, then you're into some scat play. That's all I'm saying.
That's that's some varsity level shit.
Yeah,
like
it is. That's some.
I love it. He demonstrates his own cluelessness in that sentence. Like, I know some weird stuff about sex too. Did you know some people put it in their mouth?
And then they hum the national anthem.
Those filthy rabbits. What's nothing to do with sex at all. That's actually the best foreplay. You're having
nothing that gets me up. Actually, before I have sex with my wife, I'm like, can you go do an upper decker? It tunes me up. Just tunes me up. I just want to think about you balancing precariously over an area of the bowl you can't even put your cheeks on because you'll break. I want you to what I want you to be doing is like a wall sit on the top of the fucking bowl, and then I want you to pinch a loaf out of there at the same time, because that just makes it just fills my balls with semen when you do that.
I knew you were coming, so I shat my toilet top. What?
You know, you have a really nice dinner, and then she goes to the bathroom afterward, and she comes in, do you do an upper decker just for me?
Every kiss begins with upper decker. What? That's not a song.
Like normally other people get her flowers. You just drop the deuce in the top, dude.
It's like I got candles and I pooped in the top of the toilet. Maybe a little massage oil. Then I shit your shoes. I've actually shit in all of your things.
You can't leave here without my scent.
I've been saving it for a week. I just have little baggies of poop.
I ate cheese all week just so I could pack the musket and then just release at the end of
an upper decker. How do you sexualize that? I don't know. It's so funny. Yeah, these crazy people with their pooping in the toilet. Yeah, man.
It's like you unleash like a white Bill Cosby, like, with your pooping in the toilets.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
People crap on the top of a toilet just to be mean to the next person that comes in. You know, in the water container. That abused my mind. I'm sorry I'm even spreading that, but that's one of the more innocuous ones.
It's not one. It's not even one of them. It's not even on the list of one. You haven't named one. Your list has 0 on it. It has not one thing on your list.
God.
Take your list, crumble it into a ball, throw it away. Get a new list.
Actually, no. Crumble it into a ball and then fuck it, and then you'll have one. And then you'll have one.
Okay. Well, now since I read these WikiLeaks, it's 50 times worse than what I knew before. I didn't know
anything. You didn't know anything.
It's like when somebody watches, a movie that is clearly, complete fiction, and they're like, "Oh my god, I had no idea there was a Candyman."
Right.
And now there's a Candyman. And now I know if I walk into the bathroom and I sing a fucking Bloody Mary song or whatever in the fucking mirror, Candyman's going to come out. And I'm afraid every time.
Right.
I'm afraid every time I walk into the bathroom. Yeah. You're like, fucking, it's all made up, man. Like, some dude wrote it on 4chan to fool a bunch of fucking credulous dipshits, and you guys bought it. Like, you fucking bought it.
Crazy sexual stuff till I was in college. And when I say crazy sexual stuff, I mean mild stuff, folks. Mild.
Well, that just means you're sheltered. Who cares?
Right. Like, nobody would let me touch their vagina until I was in my late 20s. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Great. Well, you look like a fucking rotting apple, so I can see why.
Probably just because you yelled at everybody the whole time.
It's because he was shitting in the wrong part of the toilet.
Mild. And now I had to read thousands of pages of these things, and so do my reporters. I've forgotten more in the last month than I knew sexually my entire 42 years before that.
What's the sexual parts of these emails?
Name them.
Like, here's the thing.
What are you talking about?
I looked at the terms you said, and then I found another article that lists some of these emails as if they're incriminating emails, and they're the most innocuous emails I've ever seen. I just found a fake news article that said, like here's some fucking... Here's them talking about pizza, and here's them talking about sauce and cheese, and here's them talking about a box of cheeses that someone was sent, and they're saying, oh, see, they're talking about little kids. And you're like, no, they're fucking talking about a box of cheese, man. and they're not comfortable having conversations where, hey, thanks for giving me that like little blonde kid that I fucked in the ass the other day, Tom. I really appreciate you giving me that 7-year-old to fuck. Instead of doing that face to face, I got to communicate that over email. Right, if you're going to give me the kid, can't I just tell you in fucking person? Be like, hey man, thanks for hooking me up with that fucking 4-year-old. Like, why do I have to tell you over email? Why do I even communicate via email?
Have they ever seen The Wire? Get some burners, motherfucker.
Jesus, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to communicate in code, great. Why do I have to do it in a written code that someone can hack?
But, I mean, seriously, the worst code. The worst thing to do would be to write in an email exchange. Why would you ever do anything in writing that you could do that's horrifying like this?
These are people who fucking fly in private jets, man. It's not like this would be a hard thing to do in person.
No, seriously, just fucking buy a burner.
Or buy a burner, right?
Buy a burner.
Nobody's gonna hear it.
Bring. I'd like to fuck that kid. I'm also throwing this phone away because I said I was gonna fuck a kid on it. And then you throw the fucking phone away forever.
Yeah.
Because but still.
Yeah.
Well, you'll write it in an email. I'll call them pizza. Did they all have to get together?
Yeah,
and come up with the secret code words?
Vote on this? Did everybody say like, okay, well, are we going to use pizza?
That's the other thing. It's like it's not like they're on the fucking deep web somewhere doing this. It's email.
Yeah.
Just fucking regular old email. That's it. They're just a good email. They're not like deep in the fucking bowels of the tubes.
Like when you start thinking about this critically for any second, any piece of it falls into fucking a million other pieces.
Right.
And you're just like, none of it makes any sense at all. I don't even know how you get this deep as he's gotten. I don't know how your brain gets that deep into it.
By being shallow.
Yeah. Or by just wanting to share and like.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Share and like this story so that I get a bunch of fucking people to come here.
Right.
Because you know what? We're living in an age right now where people don't care about the facts. Where if you were to say that to people, they'd be like, oh, really?
Right.
They said juicy and saucy in those emails and they meant little kids? Well, fuck them. And they're not even going to do any fucking work. So, well, you know, this story is just so frustrating. And the reason why it's frustrating and the reason why, Tom, we sort of are really angry about it is because of what happened this last week.
Yeah. So this shit has effects, right? Like he just makes this up and then he goes through all these fucking crazy machinations to tell you how much integrity he has and how honest he is and that he has this responsibility. And when he does that, people really listen. Like, you and I know Alex Jones is bullshit, right? Like, he screams about life extension technology. Like, he's clearly a crazy person.
Upper decker life extension technologies.
But Edgar Welch didn't think so.
Yeah.
And Edgar Welch, his life is fucking ruined now.
Yeah.
His life is ruined. This is a guy who drove to that fucking pizza parlor because what he saw was some InfoWars shit. And what he really thought was, oh my God, I live in a world where there's a fucking secret dungeon pedophile ring and it's in this fucking pizza place, and nobody's stopping it, and he drove 350 miles with an assault rifle, and he fucking busted in, and he shot the assault rifle in the place. Now, nobody was hurt. Nobody was injured. But thankfully, first of all, nobody was hurt or injured. People could have easily been killed. The guy's got a fucking assault rifle, right? And now his life is over. Yeah. Like, this is like we read the fucking transcript of his interview. He seems like a stupid person. Like, I'm saying, like, he seems like a man of deeply low intellect and easily fooled, a credulous person, right? But he's a guy that can get a gun in America.
Yeah.
And he's a guy whose heart was motivated before his brain fact-checked anything.
And that's the thing is, like when you read what this guy was talking about, you think, this guy seems like somebody who wanted to do good.
Right, his heart was motivated.
He doesn't seem like a kind of guy who breaks into a place to, like, show somebody, like, you know, I'm gonna fucking do this like Dirty Harry. Instead, the way it reads, and I don't know the operation of this guy's mind. All I know is what he said after the fact and what he's talking to these reporters about. But when he talks to them, it sounds to me like he's saying, you know what? I just wanted to help some kids. It really scared the shit out of me that there was kids in there. And, you know, you had a great point. You were talking about Thomas and abortion and that whole thing. Like, if you really thought that your neighbor was killing someone,
would you just hang out?
Would you just do nothing
and just be
about
like,
it?
oh yeah, that's the house my neighbor lives in. He kills people, and of course you wouldn't.
Yeah, and
of course.
And the same thing goes when this guy's, and when we're talking about abortion, Thomas was talking about abortion in the sense that like that's why people are motivated to stop it.
Right.
The same thing goes here. It's like if you found out, like if you read all these sites, all these places point to it, Pizzagate. Hey guys, this that at this fucking Comet ping pong in pizzeria, they're fucking molesting children. And it's absolutely happening. It's happening over and over and over again.
And you thought nobody was stopping this. And how evil is this shit?
Nobody's doing anything. Well, I have the means. I have a car. I have an assault weapon. I have myself. I'm willing to put myself on the line to stop this from happening.
Yeah.
And then he finds out it's nothing. And now he's at the bottom of this article. He's like, I regret how I handled the situation. He's essentially saying my life is over.
He's got kids. He's a 28-year-old man with a couple of kids.
Yeah.
Right? His heart was motivated before his head did the fact checking.
Yeah.
And so his life is fucking over. Thankfully, he didn't end anybody else's life.
Right.
But, stop and think too, somebody owns this Comet pizza place. That's just somebody's livelihood. That's a guy that's probably some guy with a mortgage and a car. And it's just his restaurant and it's his livelihood. Maybe it was his passion. And now, are they still going to be in business?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's certainly not good for your business when armed people break into it with assault rifles and you get a reputation for housing a fucking pedophile dungeon and you had nothing to do with any of it because it's all made up.
Yeah.
It's all just nonsense. None of it ever happened. But this is your business and you started it with the fucking blood, sweat, and tears or whatever like everybody else. You just get singled out for no reason. This is not consequence-free shit.
Yeah.
If you want to break into some place and stop a bunch of pedophiles, knock on the door of a church.
Tom.
Yeah.
Can we talk for a second about rubber dicks?
Again?
Yeah. It's a conversation we need to have every once in a while.
We just had this conversation right before and after lunch.
Yeah. It's a conversation we keep having.
We do.
And the reason why is...
because you get one 50% off by going to adamandeve.com.
No, it'll go 100% in. But it's 50% off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, 50% is about as far as I can get them off, typically, without the rubber dick. I'm halfway there. I'm fucking all the way there.
Yeah,
spent.
Actually, yeah, I'm going to go watch YouTube.
Done and done.
Here, I bought this on adamandeve.com. Finish up.
I'm sweaty. This seems like a lot of work.
Right now, if you type in Glory at checkout, you'll get 50% off about
almost any item.
Almost any item. It's not every item.
There's a few excluded
There's
items.
Excluded stuff,
right.
But about 50% off on anything. And then you'll also get free shipping.
Yep.
And they'll give you some free stuff.
Yep.
And all you have to do is type in Glory at checkout.
And who doesn't want to type in Glory at checkout? Cecil, I've taken to typing Glory every time I check out somewhere just to see what happens.
I actually just grabbed the cashier and just screamed Glory in their face. The other thing about this too is that it's reusable. Like a rubber dick, the Glory is reusable.
With proper care.
You can keep using it over and over and over again. Just think of Glory like the lube. You put the lube in every single time you want to go deep.
Literally wash, rinse, and repeat.
But you can check them out at adamandeve.com. You can type in Glory at checkout, get some free stuff, have some fun. At the same time, you're getting a little bit off and you're getting a lot off. So, Tom, we are reading a book called The Biggest Secret by David Icke. We are slowly working our way through it. We are now on chapter 17, which is...
Secret language.
Secret language.
Secret language.
It's a shortish chapter. It's got some interesting photos in it. What we do here is we read this book week by week. We read a chapter a week, and we talk about the chapter, but we don't actually discuss the chapter in depth. What we do is we try to quiz each other on the content. And these quizzes are easy enough so you don't even actually have to read the chapter.
Yeah, right.
to get them right. And then at the end, I give a synopsis. So that's how this segment's going to go. Tom, why don't you go first?
All right, Cecil. According to this insane book of inanity, why do dates matter to the brotherhood?
Okay.
A, because you only forget your evil fourth dimensional lizard girlfriend's birthday once. B, Dates are numbers, and numbers are symbols. The lizard people use dates as a secret code to control the world and order off the secret menu at restaurants.
All of the upper decker.
Again, sir. Again.
With a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity.
Because different numerical values in dates represent different world leaders and their locations around the world. Broadcasting dates is really a secret treasure map of the location of the lizard people's evil layers. Or D, because dates represent energy flows and cycles.
D.
Yes. Okay.
Energy flows.
What does it even mean?
I don't know. Torches are symbolic of...
Oh, Jesus.
A, how fucking stupid you people are. B, no, really, I mean, they put the fucking eternal torch on John Kennedy's grave. Could you be more fucking daft? C, I'm not kidding. The Statue of Liberty has a goddamn torch, for Christ's sakes. A fucking torch. D, Rockefeller Center, Olympics, Amico. Do I have to fucking keep spelling it out for you morons? Or E, all of the above.
I believe it's E, all of the above.
There you
Nailed
go.
it.
There you go.
That's exactly how this book is written. Cecil, what is the difference between the Illuminati and the Bavarian Illuminati?
One has gelatin.
A delightful custard filling. B, rich velvety chocolate. C, the Illuminati is the big spoon. The Bavarian Illuminati is the little spoon.
That's adorable.
D, the Illuminati infiltrated the Freemasons. The Bavarian Illuminati put their custard elsewhere.
It's D.
It's actually more C than it is. It's a combination.
It's a little spoon, big spoon?
Because it's more much versus less much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, reptiles make great lovers because... A,
cold hearts.
Snakes are just prehensile phalluses. B, they use their obelisk to focus all the attention on one spot. C, they
starting a fire, honey.
C, they can lick their eyebrow. Or D, when you eat a live snake, it tastes like chocolate. And we all know chocolate is an aphrodisiac.
I want a do-over.
Okay.
I want a do-over. Is it B?
It is B.
I don't want to know that. I don't want to even know that.
You knew it, though.
All right, Cecil. What are obelisks and domes actually, really, probably?
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
A. These are really thought forms that attract and generate male and female energies. B. When an obelisk loves a dome very much, it bigly much is a huge penis.
Bigly much? Love it.
C. Together, the obelisk and dome are symbols of reptilian power that signal where the mothership should land once the plan finally comes to fruition.
I love it when a plan comes together.
D. These are just shapes, man. Come the fuck on. They are just fucking shapes.
Now, in reality, it's D.
Yes.
But it's actually A.
It is indeed book-wise.
Okay. Tom, what is the symbol of the owl doing in the nation's capital?
Oh, God. All right.
A, keeping track of how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. B, collecting WikiLeaks emails about what you want on your pizza. Wink, wink. C, the owl is symbolic of Molark, the ancient deity to which the children are sacrificed. You connect the dots. D, it's not an owl. It's an upside-down torch, you boob.
It's C, but it's also D. Oh, I love it. Cecil, why are lions used as symbols? A, because lions are just obviously big and strong and imposing. And if you just fucking look at one and try to think of what it represents, it's just so obviously power. Look at a lion, for God's sake. B, because lions are golden colored, and gold is the color of the sun, and the reptiles came from constellations, and constellations are stars, and stars are suns. So lions are symbols of the sun, which tells you, here there be reptiles.
I like them both.
C, because in prehistoric times, when the lizard people were out of the lizard closet and running amok, they rode lions into battle. They missed that. Kind of like that shithead loser whose glory days were in high school.
Battle cats.
Exactly.
Fucking cringer.
D, because lions roar totes super loud, just like lizards would if they could. It's a whole thing.
I seriously have no idea what the answer is.
It's the gold color. I just ran with the gold color.
Oh, I see. Okay,
thing.
all right.
Yeah. Why would you know? It's nonsense. It's all nonsense.
Oh, God. All right, last question.
All right.
The Brotherhood has a famous hand symbol. What is it? A, brushing off your left shoulder with your right hand, also known as signaling the runner to steal third. B, throwing up the horns, which is how Bill Clinton ended his inaugural speech and how thousands of Motley Crue fans express their solidarity.
I love it.
C, the upturned thumb, popularized by the Fonz in Happy Days. He was clearly a Brotherhood member who took large doses of monoatomic gold as he could start and stop electronics at whim.
I love it.
D, holding your finger and your thumb up to your head in a mock gun, and then signaling that gun has gone off. Because in order to believe this shit, your brain has to be evacuated from your skull.
I don't. It's the A.
It is actually throwing up the horns.
No.
Yeah, throwing
I
up.
missed that
Yeah,
part.
it says he says that if you throw it, like Bill Clinton threw up the horns at the end of his thing. I just added the Motley Crue thing.
I did. I must have missed that whole sentence. Probably because I was fucking having an aneurysm from reading this nonsense.
All right, so this whole chapter just deals with symbols and garbage, and it's just one thing leads to another. So I just want to read the synopsis very quickly. Diagonal and straight streets always make diagonal and straight shapes when connected and viewed from overhead. Washington, D.C. has more upside-down pentagrams than a Slayer press release. 13 is a very symbolic number. Well, not 13 exactly, but 12 and 1, which is why so many buildings in this country have a missing 13th floor. Or is it missing at all?
Bum, bum, bum.
So next time...
I can't believe that was a synopsis of
Chapter 18.
No,
that was
I know.
it, though.
No, I'm
Yeah.
right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. But we just read something, and that was the synopsis. I feel stupider for having read this.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
So this story comes from the Friendly Atheist blog over at Pathos. Christian homeschooling advocate. The only reason that math works is that Jesus created it. So this is insane. There's a math textbook, Cecil, that is arguing that the reason that 2 + 4 = 6 is Jesus.
Well, that makes sense, though. 2 + 4 = 6 because of Jesus, because there's 4 holes and two cross, like 2 sticks on the cross.
There you go.
Right? Isn't that,
it's the
isn't that
Holy
how it works?
Sixity.
It's the
Holy
you just keep adding things together.
Holy
Sixities.
Sixities. I don't think that's a thing.
No.
Let me actually read this.
Sure.
This is just delightfully insane. It kind of goes with the we'll just make up reality as we go theme of this episode.
No, this is good stuff.
Why? Why what, Johnny? Why does 2 + 4 = 6? Does it always equal 6? Of course it does, Johnny. Why do you ask? Well, can it ever be something different? Like 7 on Monday and 11 on Christmas and 39 on my birthday? No, Johnny, you're a fucking idiot. That's a genuinely stupid question.
It'll only be 39 on your birthday when you're real sad and 39. Yeah.
No, of course not. Why not? With this question, this is the best. The teacher has just found herself in a tight spot. Like it or not, she's facing a question that by state law, she is not permitted to answer honestly.
What?
It's not even by state law. Even following the crazy premise that it would be a violation of church and state to answer the question, that would not be a violation of state law. That would be a violation of federal law, the separation between church and state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But in order to get there,
yes,
you have to presume that answering honestly means she would have to bring up religion.
Well, we're going to get
right
there.
because to answer that honestly, you don't even need to talk about religion.
No, you just need fingers.
Yeah.
You need 6 fingers.
Yeah. You need
6 total fingers,
or 6 like marbles or something.
You just need 6 units of
Sure.
any measure at all. So here's the explanation. The honest answer that she's not allowed to admit is that the only reason that math works is that Jesus created it from his mind of order and precision. Randomness and chance never produce predictable constancy and accuracy.
What does that even mean?
And then they go down. Hold on, because it's crazier. Then we'll go back to it. It says, instead of evolution, as the author on the front cover of the math textbook, that designation rightfully belongs to the Lord Jesus Christ. First of all, nobody writes, oh, who wrote my math book? Oh, dear, see, written by evolution. What are you talking? Evolution's not a person who writes math books. Evolution has nothing to do with math books.
Bill Evolution.
Right. You're just throwing that in there just for the fucking sheer hell of it. Just for the sheer unadulterated hell of it.
Instead of evolution on the front. Okay, so the only reason math works is Jesus created it in his mind of order and precision, randomness and chance never. So are they saying because we live in an unpredictable universe, according to quote-unquote evolutionists, they can never achieve order like adding things together and getting an answer?
I think the suggestion here is the fact that there is order. Because it says the existence of mathematics is one of the strongest evidences for the existence of God. So the fact of order itself, that things are predictable, is evidence that Jesus made up math, which suggests to me that before Jesus, they didn't have math. That 2 + 4 sometimes equaled something else. Jesus is only 2,000 and change years old.
I know. How old's
right?
the abacus?
That's what I mean. Before that, evidently before that, Noah came down. They're like, how many commandments do you have? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know how many. It was 10. Now it's 3. I don't know. I added them up, and sometimes I get a different number.
That's Moses. But also, Noah would have been like, I don't know how many 2 is.
Right.
How many is a 2? I don't know. How many is a 7 ungulates or whatever you want on here?
How big should this boat be? I don't know, 36 cubits. Today.
What's a 36?
Right, I don't even
know what that is.
To this, it's just
I don't math.
I can't add
There's
this
no
up.
way.
Bring me 7 giraffes. I don't know how much that is today. I'm just gonna get some. Can I just get some giraffes and we'll hope it's 7?
Why are they conflating Jesus and God though?
But even if they are, it's just so patently insane.
No. It's not that it's not patently insane, but at least if it's God, it fits their timeline.
I love that they can't even be consistent about their own mythology. They're just I think it was just, I don't know who's the best one in that book.
It's Jesus.
That's Jesus.
So I want to thank our most recent patrons. Of course, we want to thank all our patrons. Thank you also very much for your patronage. We really do appreciate it. But we want to thank Timothy, Katie, Matthew, Sleazy P. Martini, Donovan, and Doomtooth. Thanks so much for your...
Doomtooth is great.
Thanks so much for your generous donations. We really do appreciate it. It really does go a long way to making sure this show happens. We have overhead costs that do cost us quite a bit of change. We want to thank all the people who help send us money to make sure this show keeps going. So we want to talk briefly about our appearance on the David Smalley Podcastathon.
We did have a very nice time on the Podcastathon. I thought Mr. Smalley did a nice job. Yeah. For organizing such a big event for a little guy, he really did a really good job for that. We raised a ton of money.
Wound up raising at this point, I know you can keep donating, but at this point, they're at 63,134. Of that is about $8,000 that happened during our hour. There was a match from Todd Stiefel during our hour. Somebody, when we jumped in, somebody donated $2,000 immediately.
Right away. Boom.
And
done.
We donated in turn to the ACLU this week. We donated $2,000 based on that because we wanted to make sure that that while we were there to help support Camp Quest by giving up our, giving an hour and trying to help entertain and trying to get people to donate, we also wanted to make sure that we gave some incentive to some people to donate during our hour, and then we would help out something else that we thought was important. And the ACLU this upcoming years is going to be very important.
Super important. Yeah.
So we decided to donate a couple $1,000s to them. And then our hour wound up raising $8,000, so $10,000 total to charity during our hour, and it was great. I mean, the people just gave,
so awesome.
And it was, and the community is just amazing. I mean, this is to Camp Quest, and Camp Quest. If you listen to this podcastathon that was going on, it was just so great to hear all the stories, and they called a bunch of campers, and these are people who are looking to go have fun somewhere. And what was happening was they were forced to go to these
indoctrination camps,
religious camps where they do this crazy like kidnapping, or even if they don't have a lot of fun. So they're just like, okay, kids, we're just going to tie yarn in knots for 4 hours. They just don't have any kind of activities planned. They have crappy facilities. This is a way to send your kids to a quality thing, and they will have a great time, and they're fed, and it's just a great experience for these children. And some of the stuff that they were talking to these kids about is really important at that age. They're talking about death with some of these kids, like in a way that like these kids can really try to contend with, because it's a big deal for kids.
Right. It is. And it's a big deal for kids, particularly secular kids that don't have a sort of pre-established worldview for what they're going to do and how this works. And to be able to go someplace and not be proselytized to, but let kids just go and be kids. Like Seth was talking about, like it's just a place for kids to go and enjoy their summer and be kids and find community and do those things that camp should really be about. So I was very excited. I intend to at some point ship one of my kids off to Camp Quest and maybe even ask to have them back at the end. I don't know.
That is, they may keep him.
They are welcome to, at least one of them.
I will say this for David. He put on a hell of a show this time. Worked his way around the clock again.
Yes, he did.
$63,000 is nothing to spit at. David Smalley, congratulations, my friend.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Good in the world.
And I know that he's not going to take the credit for it, and as well he shouldn't. All those people who donated time, donated money, that falls on all their shoulders, but there needs to be an organizer and an organizing feature, and you were it, David, and you did a great job.
It doesn't happen without him.
Doesn't happen without you, buddy. Congratulations. Well done. No Illusions also raised a ton of money during his hour, $5,300 during his hour.
That's less than our hour, though, right? Just to double check?
It was significantly less. But a lot of money raised during that hour. It just turns out there was, just so much giving around the clock, and we can't thank everybody enough for donating to this great cause. Speaking of the GAM crew and No Illusions, we are going to be doing a live show.
We are. Very exciting.
The GAM crew are coming to Chicago, and we are going to have...
In January.
Yeah. So
brave souls.
What's cool is there's going to be a VIP, which is already sold out, so you can't get VIP tickets, right? But the VIP, we're going to have dinner with people beforehand. Then we're going to go over and do our show. Then afterwards, we're going to go out for a drink. So if you're interested in hanging out, chilling, we're going to be at the Red Lion afterwards. But we're going to be doing the show. The tickets are still on sale right now. If you get the tickets, you can still buy general admission tickets. They are, at this point, they're going fast. They're not completely sold out. You can get some tickets still, but you really should consider getting the tickets.
Don't wait until January.
Yeah.
They will not be. This place is going to sell out.
And in my opinion, they'll probably be gone in about a week.
Yeah.
So I would,
at this rate,
they're going to be gone in about a week. So if you have tickets, if you have it in your mind that you want to come to Chicago in January 13th on a Friday, check out this episode's show notes. There's a link to tickets there. You can buy tickets and come on out. We're going to be hanging out all weekend, and we're going to actually be hanging out. One of the things that's going to be weird is we're going to be hanging out with Eli.
Ugh.
And Eli's a vegan, right?
Stop.
And he's kind of like a hobbit, right? He's got to eat second breakfast and third breakfast and then first lunch.
That's
because
none of it's food.
And everywhere he goes, he's going to walk up and, because he's a vegan, he'd be like, potato, boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a Jew. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to hanging out with those guys. It should be a great time. And we're also looking forward to doing the show.
It's going to be. I'm very excited. I think it's a very nice theater, and really Chicago in January.
Oh, you can't go wrong.
Man.
So we got a message from Propanic, and he had said he was talking about some of the social justice stuff we were talking about recently, and one of the things he says, which I thought was really interesting, he or she, I can't tell whether it's a guy or a girl. It says. It really feels like the ideas don't matter anymore, only who expresses them and how. And he says it goes for all sides, by the way. I really do think you're right. I mean, for a long time, there's been a cult of personality around P.Z. Myers. Whatever he says is just gospel truth to some people. Some of the big feminists, the same thing's the truth, where it's just, whatever Rebecca Watson says is gospel truth, whatever... Anita Sarkeesian says is gospel truth. And the same thing goes for the other side. Whatever the angry atheist or Thunderfoot or, Although Thunderfoot much less now, especially now that he's become an anti-Trump. I'm seeing a lot more pushback on him.
Really?
Yeah, actually, he's doing a lot of videos that are anti-Trump. I don't know if you've seen this. And he's tweeting a lot that's anti-Trump. It's actually really interesting to see a pushback from his audience because his audience, I think, is sort of
on that right side.
Right side.
Yeah.
And his videos are really, like the safe space video he did on Trump is actually really funny. But Milo's one of those people. There's just these people that no matter what they do,
it's the problem with a cult of personality.
You can't say anything about it. And it's like, man, these are just people. When I was talking to Cara Santa Maria last episode, I was like, I really respect Sam Harris, but you can't tweet this thing out without any proof that some troll said something and then come back and double down on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just feels disingenuous. And I'm not gonna defend Sam's position there. That's a silly position. And so I feel like throughout this thing, you've just got to be intellectually honest and be willing to say, no, man, fucking call your friends out on their bullshit. Also call your heroes out on their bullshit too.
That's important.
Interesting. This American Life, I guess it's episode 603 that tells the story of the Boomba. And
I love This American Life. Yeah. I will check this out. Maybe on my drive home.
Yeah,
this is great.
Listen to this. We got a message from Tim, and Tim sent a very heartfelt message to us about sort of how Cog Dis and scathing sort of touched his life. And I don't want to read the message, but
it's very personal.
It's very personal, but it really touched me, and we're glad. It's tough times are tough times, and we really do. Our heart goes out to you, but just anything that we did, I'm just blown away that we could do anything in that situation. But I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I got to say, Tim, my heart goes out to you. I'm glad that any of the craziness and the dick jokes and whatever it is that we put out
is going to work.
That it meant something to you and it meant something to your son. It warmed my heart, and I'm glad that you were able to have that point of connection.
We got a message from Elvis, and Elvis sent us a Game of Thrones checkerboard.
I love it.
Is he going to castle here? Is that what's going to happen? So
it's an upper decker. It's a little. It's
one of those chess moves.
They don't use it very often. Yeah, a lot of people call it cheating.
Kasparov is in his book or whatever. I don't even know if that's a person. It just sounded Russian.
It sounds Russian as fuck, dude.
I thought
it sounds Russian as fuck.
So I want to play a clip. This is from episode 80.
Oh God!
Tom said this out loud, and so we're just going to play it. This is from Thurston.
If you really want to have children, then fuck your mom.
Jesus,
that's it.
I don't know.
Maybe it'll do it. I don't know. And we also got a message. We're going to put a link to this on this episode show notes. This is from Jeff, and he sent us a message, and it's got a recipe for. Okay, first off, it's a pie. Secondly, it's an eggnog pie. Third, it's a fucking no-bake pie. There's nothing more grotesque than eggnog other than solid eggnog.
Dude, I cannot imagine chewing on eggnog. If you had, because you were in prison or there's a post-apocalyptic world where the only food item you could find was eggnog, if you had to choke down an eggnog just for its caloric content to stay alive, first, I'm still not sure I'd do it. I'm not sure I'd want to live that much.
I would probably cut out my own tongue and eat that.
I feel like I would be down to just a head before that happened. Like I would just consume the entirety of myself like a fucking Ouroboros before I would get to the eggnog stage.
Choking on your own leg.
Right? Oh, God. But the notion of chewing on eggnog, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a fucking no-bake semen pie.
Yeah. No, I mean, you might as well have a booger pie. It's a gross, bad, nasty mucus pie.
God.
That looks disgusting.
Look at it. It's fucking, it's
look at the yellow.
I know. It's like, it's zit mucus yellow. That's exactly the color.
God, that's
what are the ingredients? Horror, shame.
It looks horrifying.
It looks literally like the worst thing.
It looks horrifying.
I'd rather be waterboarded than eat that.
I'd rather Tom be waterboarded than eat that.
God. And you know what they show it served with? A glass of eggnog right next to it.
Yeah, nothing. There's really nothing to choke down. You really can't choke down eggnog without choking down some extra eggnog.
God damn.
So next week, it's our hope to have Thomas from Thomas and the Bible on, as well as Atheistically Speaking, which is maybe going to be rebranded soon. So we'll figure that out in the future. No, he announced it. He announced it to his peeps.
All right.
It's to patrons now, but by this time
it's everybody.
Be everybody.
The whole world knows.
We might have at this point too. I don't know if it releases or not by Monday, but we were on an episode of Atheistically Speaking, his 300 episode. He had us on. We talk about free speech issues, so if that's something that interests you, if you want to hear two guys who are pretty uninformed talk about speech issues, you can listen to the Atheistically Speaking. Supposedly his 300 episode, though, looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's
some really great people. I'm anxious to hear it. He's got a ton of people from all across the spectrum coming on, and so it should be pretty interesting.
I've been told I was on the spectrum before, so yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking across the spectrum in the sense that you're the whitest and Ishmael's the blackest. And if you just, there's gradations in there.
They don't get much whiter than this.
But it should be pretty good. And we are also hoping to guest on opening arguments to talk about, again, the same sort of issue. If you're interested in hearing two guys, again, who don't know anything.
I feel like they are, or they wouldn't be listening to this show.
Law talky stuff will be on that show with law talkers. But we're going to be on a couple of different shows coming up, and we're also going to have Thomas on our show to talk about he finally finished the Bible and the rebranding of Atheistically Speaking. And of course, Thomas is going to do a story with us and hang out and have fun.
I hope he reads it.
So yeah. Don't get your hopes up. So that's going to wrap it up for this week. We are going to leave you, like we always do, with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, water downward spiral, brain deadpan, sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.